Have you ever had someone important tell you, "Listen closely, this really matters"? That's exactly what was happening as Moses continued speaking to God's people. After reminding them in chapter 10 that God wants their hearts, their love, and their obedience, Moses leaned in and continued with words they needed to hear. Moses told the people to truly love the Lord their God and to follow His ways every day. He reminded them that they had seen God's power for themselves, not just heard stories. They had watched how God cared for them, guided them, and corrected them so they could grow strong and wise. Moses explained that obeying God was not just about rules, but about living well in the land God was giving them. This land was different from Egypt, where they had worked hard to water the fields. The new land would be cared for by God Himself. Rain would come from heaven, and God would watch over it all year long. Moses wanted them to understand that God was deeply involved in their daily lives. He told them that if they listened carefully and loved God with all their heart and soul, God promised good things. Their crops would grow, their animals would be healthy, and they would have what they needed. God's care would be clear and steady, just like a parent who never stops watching over their children. But Moses also gave a loving warning. He told the people not to forget God or chase after things that could not help them. If they stopped listening and turned away, they would miss out on the good gifts God wanted to give. Moses wasn't trying to scare them. He wanted them to choose wisely, because their choices mattered. Moses encouraged them to keep God's words close. He said they should remember them in their hearts, talk about them at home, and think about them when they went out and when they rested. God's words were meant to be part of everyday life, not just something they heard once in a while. Moses even said they should teach these words to their children so the next generation would know and trust God too. At the end, Moses gave the people a clear choice. He said God was setting before them a path of good and a path of trouble. The good path came from listening to God and walking in His ways. Moses hoped with all his heart that they would choose the path that led to blessing, joy, and a long life in the land God had promised. And so Moses finished this part of his message by reminding them that loving God, listening to Him, and trusting Him would always be the best choice. Subscribe to Seeds of Joy and learn the Bible with us.